Hi, I'm TK with the Generational Legacy series, and today we're going to take a journey through time and explore an extraordinary lady who I do believe came into this world in 1936. Now, in 1936, that was the Great Depression. Again, in 1936, the Great Depression was about our country. And a lot of things were going on. I can tell you, if you don't know, bread was 10 cents, gas was 10 cents, rent was $24, and the average wage of a person was $1,713. Can you believe that? I mean, nobody right now would be able to even live on that a month, I do believe, right? And guess what? Houses were $3,927. That's laughable, right? Well, June 27th, 1936, there was a beautiful young lady born right to the USA, and her name was
Trowell.
And
my name was Charlie Mae Simpson at that time.
Okay, Charlie Mae Simpson. So, and your parents' name
was Charlie Simpson and Florence Simpson.
And you were born in what city and state?
Greenwood, Mississippi.
Greenwood, Mississippi?
Yes.
Okay, now what is Greenwood close to? What is the big city that Greenwood's close to?
I would think would be to Memphis or Jackson, Mississippi. Either one. They're pretty much the bigger cities anyway.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, can you remember, let's say 10 years old? Can you go back to 10 years old?
I was living in Louisville then. I came to Louisville when I was 4 years old, in 1940.
Okay. So you all migrated to Louisville, Kentucky, and was this because of the Depression?
Well, no, not really. My dad came here in 39, and with my mom and I came in 1940. But it was just, he had brothers and sisters that lived here. So our family just moved, I guess it was for better things for them too also.
Mm-hmm. Better opportunities.
Right.
Now, I know that segregation and... Now, do you remember any of that when you...
Well...
Let's see, at 10 years old, what school did you go to? Do you remember?
I went to Lincoln Elementary School, which is on Bland Street at the time. I started kindergarten there, and I was there until I was in 6th grade. And but it was all black then. It was just, it wasn't mixed or anything.
Well, did you notice the difference between blacks and whites when you were?
Yes.
Can you recall some things? Can you tell your children and grands and great grands?
Well, we lived in a completely black neighborhood, but there were, say, 3 or 4 blocks from where we lived that were white, and there was a lot of not the wanting to be for you to come into their neighborhoods and things like that. Mm-hmm.
So now, do you have brothers and sisters?
No, I'm an only child.
Oh, really? So were you spoiled, Miss Charlie?
No.
Yeah, she said that too quick, you guys. She was probably spoiled rotten, yes?
Well, I was a daddy girl. Yes,
You was your daddy's girl, okay. Now what was daddy's name again?
His name was Charlie Simpson.
Charlie Simpson,
mm-hmm.
Okay. Can you tell us some things that you used to do and just to wrap yourself around daddy's finger?
Well, he was a singer. He sung with a group quartet. And so when he would go on the trips out of town, I would go with him a lot of times, even as a little girl. And he always had a backpack, so he was able to change his shirts or whatever he wanted to. And he'd always tell everybody, don't mess with me because Charlie Mae's going to get you. So, I remember that.
Now, what is the name of the group that he was a...
Kentucky number 1.
Okay. Was it R&B, rhythm and blues?
It was a religious group.
Okay. So it was a gospel group.
Gospel group, yes. And at that particular time, there was he actually sung with different groups. He sung with Reverend Kirby then, which was the Religious Five. Okay, and then he also sung with the traveling traveling Pilgrim Travelers. Mm-hmm. Not the famous group, just the group here in the city.
But still, that's still cool because they went all over the place, right? So tell us a few states that you remember going to.
I know that they were in Kentucky a lot because I used to go to Somerset, Kentucky with them. Also,
what about Tennessee? Did y'all travel?
No, I didn't travel to Tennessee with them, no.
Just all around Kentucky?
Yeah.
Okay.
Smaller cities here, out in Kentucky.
But still, I'm sure that was fun.
Yeah, it was fun. Yes, it was.
Okay. So, we're going to fast forward to 1946. Do you remember 1946?
Yes, I think I do. I was 10 years old. I was in the 5th grade.
Okay.
And our school was very close, but I had a lot of friends. And I was never a person that I never liked trouble or anything, and I'm still that way. I like for everybody to be happy, and I want to make them happy. Okay.
So you're a giver.
I'm a giver, that's right.
Okay. And I see this beautiful family that we have around us. There's little ones all the way up to older ones. And I want to know, do you have any favorites?
I can't say. But I really don't have any favorites. Now, when the first grandchild is born, everybody kind of rally around her. And she was a baby for, I guess, 5 years by yourself. All right. So she got a lot of attention.
Oh, okay. So when the other ones came along, she started.
But they're all my friends. I always tell them that everybody has a special place in my heart.
Okay.
I don't care how many of them it is or what, but I always feel that way. That I just love them to death, and I'll do anything in the world for them.
Okay. Well, we're going to forward until you were, let's say, 16.
I was married at 16.
No way.
Yes.
Well, how did that come about? How did you meet Mr. Trowell?
We have been, I guess you said, going together since I was about 13 years old. I went to his senior prom with him.
Huh?
Yes. I was 14.
14? Mm-hmm. Well, you must have been a looker then, Miss Charlie.
Yeah. I tell them they following in my footsteps now. They're looking pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, beautiful. Now tell me this. What did Mama and Daddy say about this?
I know my mom was a little against it, but my daddy was okay. But my dad was sick. We didn't know that at that particular time. He had kidney problems, and he had to have surgery, and they lost one kidney, and they couldn't, back at the time they wasn't doing dialysis or whatever.
Right.
And so I think I know he loved James, but I think what happened, that happened along was he didn't want us to be by ourselves. So, but unfortunately, James was in service, so he was in there 4 years. And we were married for 3 years before he came home.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. But
that's pretty cool.
A day of it. I love it. And we've been married 62 years.
That is awesome. Well, I know that's hard work.
Yes, it is.
That is truly. I know 62 years.
62 years.
Okay, so from that union, how many children?
We had 7 children. We had 6 living children. And we had a baby that... She was the baby, but she was born with brain. She had, brain damage at birth, and she only lived 5 days. Mm-hmm. So she would be like 50 years old now? Yeah, 50 years old. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So out of your 7, who reminds you most of you? Charnel. and
I wasn't as hard-headed as she was there. She just believed in putting it on the line. Whatever it was, she put it on the line. And I can remember days when she did never like to wash dishes. And Daddy would have to sit at the end of the table while she was putting the pots and pans in the oven to keep them washing. So he used to sit at the ends of the table to make sure that she washed everything. And she would say, when I get grown, I'm going to have a dishwasher. I don't care if I don't have a one room, we're going to have a dishwasher.
Did she hold true to it?
She held true to it.
Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. Now, which of your children remind you most of your husband?
I guess, I don't know. I guess, well, I don't know, Wayne. I guess Wayne did. Mm-hmm. And Jimmy was on the kind of on the. Wayne was quiet, but Jimmy was kind of quieter than he was. Okay. So I think that maybe Wayne was. Even I guess after he got older, he communicated with him a lot more, you know.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So I know with him being in the service. Now, what branch of service?
He was in Air Force.
Air Force. Mm-hmm. Now, do you remember the job?
He was a. Was it airplane mechanic? Is that right? Assistant crew chief, right. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, did any of the children follow in father's footsteps?
No.
Did anybody go into the military?
No.
Nobody thought about it, huh?
Thought about it, no.
Well, thank you for serving your country, our country. And today is Independence Day,
right.
And we are celebrating freedom.
Right.
And I want to know what in your heart that you really and truly are grateful for the freedom that we are celebrating.
Actually, for the kids to be able to go to school and get a good education now. Like back then, the kids who were working when they were 6 and 7, I remember uncles of them they were working in the fields and things when they were young, you know.
Right.
So I remember that, and I love my grandmother. She was the heart and soul of the family, and she loved everybody. And I always wanted to be like her. I wanted to be able to love everybody. So I think that's where I got that from, because my mom she had a little temper, so she didn't qualify for it.
So now, did your grandmother? She's the one that taught you how to cook, and
yes, some. But my mom was a very good cooker.
Okay.
Well, I can remember that we had dinner every day. I mean, they cooked every day with no fast foods and stuff. At that time, I learned how to cook when I was young too.
So how many of the children like to cook now?
Pretty much all of them.
All of them. Okay. Well,
yeah.
I know they put their foot in that catering here. They got that from you, right, Mommy?
Right.
All right. Well,
we passed it down.
You passed
I had
it
a
down?
cousin that was. We did the family reunion before when my grandmother was living, and we did just like they did all the cooking and everything, you know.
Okay. So this is a family tradition.
Yes. We had our first family reunion in Greenwood in 79, and then we had another one there in 81, and my grandmother passed in 83, so we didn't have another one there for a long time. But we started back I think it was like 1990 or 90, somewhere along there, and we've had it almost every year since then.
We'll be back in a moment to Generational Legacies on LGTV.
Again, I'm TK, and we're doing the Generational Legacy series, and we're celebrating and taking a journey down a beautiful trail and a beautiful mother, grandmother, great-grandmother, and we were talking to Miss Charlie Mae Trowell, and we're going all the way back to when she was 40 years old. That was 1986 when the Challenger, that shuttle, it exploded. Do you remember that?
Yes, I do. I remember reading about it, and I remember them talking about the people that were, they were showing pictures of the people that got killed on the space shuttle.
How did that affect you as a woman and as a mom?
Right. It affected me a lot because, you think about your children and, your children, your grandchildren, whatever, and I would never want anything like this happen in my family.
Well, we're going to fast forward 2 years.
Okay.
1988.
Yes. 1988 was a very hard year for me. My mom died of cancer. She had been diagnosed to live 6 months, and she lived 5. And being an only child, my mom and I did everything together. We went to groceries. We loved bingo, whatever. But it was really hard for me. But I had such a great family. So I cannot thank my children and grandkids for the help that they gave us and my husband, because being an only child, it's just at that particular time you wish you had sisters and brothers, but I had uncles that were like my brothers, because my mom was with the second oldest of her family.
Oh.
So she had it was 11 of them.
She was like the next
She was
mom.
right.
Yeah.
And so that year, there were times were hard for me because we talked every day. And at night also, she'd tell me, call me back. I don't want to wake James up, but call me back. And there would be, she was a kidder, loved to tell jokes and stuff. And she would, I can remember laying in the bed, and the bed would just be shaking, and James would say, May, are you all right? Are you all right? And I said, yeah, I'm okay. But it was the hardest thing for me was when the telephone, I thought the telephone was ringing, and she was going to be on the other end, and I could talk to her. So that it took a lot for me to do. And even today, I cannot walk in my bedroom and not think about a day of her life, being there with us. So she stayed with us for 5 months. We did a beautiful job with her, because when she went to the hospital the night before she came, the doctor said to us that, I want to thank your family, because she doesn't have a bruise, she doesn't have a sore or anything on her body. So they did a wonderful job.
That is awesome. Yeah, that is awesome.
Yes.
Well, she's up there sipping tea for Jesus
yes,
now, right?
Right. And of course, I lost my father. He was 38 when he passed.
Okay.
And
you said he had
he had kidney problems. Yes. His one kidney was, they taken it out, but the second, he died within a year. Yeah.
So I'm sure that was hard for the family.
Yeah.
But you all made it.
Look how serious you're making.
A lot of these beautiful people, and they continuing to carry on.
Right. Well, we have supervisors and whatever.
We got managers.
Right.
We got teachers.
Right. We just have to say, okay, whatever's okay.
Keep it moving.
Yeah.
Right. Well, that comes from a strong bond.
Right.
And I'm glad that you have that. A lot of people don't have a strong family tie and connection. So that's a blessing that you have. And all these beautiful faces in here, I'm sure that they are behind you.
They are
100%.
They are.
I know nobody better not mess with you, right?
No. I want to say to them, especially the grandkids, they have never disrespected me no kind of way. I mean, they've always been real kind, and anytime I call anybody, they're there for us, So that means a lot to us.
That's a true blessing.
Yes, it means a lot.
So that's called training. Home training.
Right.
All right. Was there anything else that you want to remember?
I just want to tell them that I love them.
Okay. Well, I'm sure they love you with the love that they got from the bottom of their heart.
Right.
All right. Well, we're going to fast forward to 50. The Big 5-0.
The Big 5-0.
Yeah. You remember that? What did Lisa do for you?
I can't remember what Lisa was doing when I was 50. I had a real sick spell there in 65. I was sick a whole year. So that was, a hard time. And they were babies. But my cousin's sister, which was my cousin, she took care of them for a whole year while my husband was able to go to work. So that was a blessing there also.
Really? 7, 6.
6.
Wow.
That was a big help to us.
Okay. Well, we're gonna give your lovely family an opportunity to ask you questions.
Okay.
We've got one of the granddaughters, and we want to know your name and what's the question you have for your grandmother.
I am Nicole Fields. I'm Lisa's oldest girl, Lisa Lane. My first question for Gigi is what we call her, is Gigi. You've been around for a long time and you've seen a lot of presidents.
Right.
And President Obama was our first African-American president.
Right.
So I want to know, for you, in your experience, what was that like? You know, having that impact that, oh wow, we have our first African-American president.
Right. Okay. It was very, very important to me because at the time that I remember some of the other presidents, you know, there was no change as far as discrimination and things were. But to me, he's very important in our lives now. And I guess I don't know.
His platform was changed.
Yeah, it changed, right.
So do you feel that there is
sure,
significant change?
Yes, very.
What do you see though? Because you know, like she said, you've been here for a while.
Right.
So what do you see that we are just so used to walking like drinking from the water fountain? Or
Right. Because I can remember them protesting. You know, Frank Stanley, which he was one of my homies. I was in his homeroom. You know, he was over the Louisville Defender.
Okay.
And I remember them going to the restaurants, especially downtown on 4th Street, and sitting down. And I mean, they wouldn't let them eat there or anything. You know, they were. It was just. It was really bad. And I remember the stores. You were only allowed to go in to purchase something, but you couldn't try anything on, especially the bigger stores. So it's a big difference. There's a big difference now.
Now, riding on the back of Lisa's question, do you think that there's still a hint of racism? Can you see it?
Yes,
still?
I can see it at the bingo. You know, some of them are really nice, but then some of them don't want you to. I mean, they don't want to sit next to you, or, you know, they have some kind of comment. I can remember one time this lady, you can't stand there and get those cards before you. I said, I was here before you was, and I don't get these cards, you know? And, I mean, things like that. And but it's still there. It's still there. It really is.
And that's why we're glad that you're here and you're able to give some insight and highlights on, you know, what you experienced coming up as a young lady, a teenager. Then when you was a teenager, I know, what were they doing? Because what were they break dancing, spinning and stuff? What were they doing at bop? What was that young dude today?
Well, I like to. They call jitterbug.
Jitterbug.
Yeah, that's what I like. So I was a pretty good dancer. Okay. There were friends of ours, and we'd go to dances, and they'd say, I want to dance with Charlie May. I want to dance with Charlie May. So I was pretty good.
Okay. I just want to say, she was talking about bingo. Now, the boys in the family got to go to the basketball game. But the girls in the family, we got to go to bingo. This is when we can go bingo. You'd have to be 18, and everybody knew Charlamagne, or they call her Charlamagne, Charlamagne in bingo, and it was just fun. So we grew up playing bingo, and that's something that we've always done at every family reunion. But it was just real cool to go to bingo and learn how to play speed and little diamond, big diamond, all that stuff. But and full tabs, you know. But it was good that we all had that bonding experience with grandmother. So every grandchild, I don't know if the boys got to go, but most of the girls did, and spend time with her.
I do believe we've got a daughter, the one that mother says is just like her. What's your name?
My name is Charnel Williams, and I'm the favorite daughter. I'm the favorite of 4 daughters. Okay. I'll put it that way. I wanted to approach my mom and my dad because they're our legacy of our family. And you don't hear often that there are families where the parents are married 62 years. And although, we thought my dad was mean every now and then, he was a strong dad and he made us strong children. And so I'd like to ask my mom, what was the one thing that the strength that Daddy has that made us the family that we are today?
Well, first of all, he came from a very strong family. I mean, there was a lot of discipline. Not saying that I wasn't disciplined, but not as much as they were. Okay. But that he was a very strong, disciplined person. But he loved his kids and he worked hard for them. I remember them going to the farm and dance, and he was working at Ford, but he took on the second job of painting, so they could get what they needed, to be dressed to go. So he really was. He's a very good father.
And we found him to be a very good leader of our family as well, because we often are looking for men that are like our dad, because he's just a strong man. And there was nothing my dad could not do. My brother's the same exact way. He can do anything, paint, fix anything. My nephews are the same way. My son, they're all handy with their hands, and you don't find that very often. But I think it's the legacy of my father and all those things that he used to do that made everybody what they are today. So I just wanted my mom to share that, because we love them both. We can't pick sides. But she's a spoiled one. I just want to make note of that. That's on camera. She is rotten to the core. But we love her. Love you, Mom.
Love you too, baby.
Precious.
Chanel.
Sorry. What was the favorite moment can you remember with your mom? At least one. Because I know you've got many.
I got many. I think the most favorite moment for me was one time I was going to a concert. And I didn't have time to go shopping. And my mother went and bought me an outfit. And to this day, I could give my mother money and she can go buy me something and find me just what I wanted. It was some black pants and a print top that I wore to a concert. And my mom and I are just like sisters, I know I can tell her anything, and I know I can put my trust in her, and she'll take care of it. And she's good with keeping secrets, sometimes depending on the secret. If you want everybody to know, tell Mama if you want to get spread it out real good, but otherwise she keep the good secrets. But she was always able to deliver for me. That was the favorite thing. I could rely on her to take care of me.
Thank you for sharing that moment.
Oh, that's precious. Oh, yes, it is. Yeah, we've had some good times.
This is TK, and this is Generational Legacy, the series. We'll be back right after this.
Watching LGTV, your high definition detail.
What's your name?
My name is Alfred Beck. And if I had one question, Grandma, I wanted to ask you, throughout the years, whether it's our older generations or down to my age or the grandkids, you've always had those moments where you kind of sit us down on our knee and talk to us and kind of open up and share life moments with us. And so while we're sitting here talking today, one of the questions I want to ask you, if there was one message that you always want everyone to always carry from now and to pass on to our future generations, what would that message be?
Okay, that message would be for this family to stay together. Whichever one is down, I want the other ones to come in and help them, and I want them to just bond and be strong for each other. That's what I want for them. Yes. I love you.
Can you remember? Can you give us one of your favorite memories?
I can definitely give you some of my favorite memories. If anybody in our family would tell you I was a problem child, I always like to get into stuff. I always like to fight with everybody. I was the youngest grandchild, so Yeah, I was, you know, a lot to handle, but I can always remember my grandmother always being there for me, protecting me. Sometimes I definitely, in the word that says, you know what I'm saying, don't spread a rod, spoil the child. So I definitely thank my parents for always, you know, having a good ride there, and this was always my protector. You know, I can remember one time being in my grandmother's house and getting in trouble, and then my grandmother background, Kim, don't kill him. and we just had moments like that over time, that she would just always be there for me and talk to me, even after at the time I might not have recognized why I got whooped. She would be that person to pull me to the side and explain to me, you know, in a calm, loving grandmother way, to say, baby, this is why, you know, you had to get disciplined, and I really appreciate you for that.
What's your name?
I am Eric. I am married into the family, so I'm a grandson.
Okay.
Well, first, I'm Eric. I am Lisa's son-in-law, married to her daughter, Lakeisha. My question is 62 years.
Yeah.
And if you look throughout this room, just about every adult in here is either married, has been married, or has aspirations of being married. It's almost like people who want to be married gravitate to this family, and you and GP being the head of the family, what is it that has helped you out last 62 years?
Well, I say that actually it's the love, but the thing is that, not saying that, well, you know, we had the perfect marriage or whatever, but we were able to sit down and talk to each other. We always was able to do that. We never, we would go to bed sometimes, but we never didn't kiss goodnight. Right. In all the years, you know, and even today, even though it's whatever. We're still kissing each other. But that's what it is. I really think it's the love, you know. I mean, I've been in love since I was 13. So I wanted to, I mean, even when Daddy went to service and we were together for that year, but when he came home on the leave, he made sure that he came to see me, and we have not been separated since. So I don't know. I guess that's what it is, baby. That's all I can say.
Well, that's actually pretty interesting, because I know I talk a lot, but I'm gonna do this very quickly.
Okay.
The memory that I have is, you say that you all never go to bed without kissing each other. It's so funny though, because if you at any given moment, if you come to y'all's house,
right,
y'all sit in y'all's chairs, and you all just start arguing out there. and it is the funniest thing ever, because you know, it's never you all shout at each other. It's just. You know, y'all arguing back and forth, but it's so funny because it can be over the smallest thing, but y'all don't cuss at each other, y'all don't make mean faces. It's almost like I'm watching a comedy skit, and two people are supposed to be arguing, but it's too funny.
I'll tell you this: there are times that we would be arguing. I do the most of the arguing, but it would be over in 5 minutes. we would back talking like nothing ever happened. So, you know, it's like that.
It's funny. Yeah. And before I leave, I just want to say that my family thanks you, because we were in a position where we lost everything. We had nothing left. We lost everything we had. Okay. And you basically furnished our whole home.
Well, I'm happy.
So we love you. We appreciate it. And we want to be married for 60 plus years.
I want you all to be married. You're welcome.
Now, how cool is that?
That is so precious. It is precious.
Yeah, that is. All right. Here come that firstborn grandchild. What's your name, firstborn?
My name is Lenidra Cosby, and I'm her first granddaughter. I just turned 40, but I'm fabulous. You know, I'm raising two children. They are 19 and 14, and it is hard raising kids. I mean, my mother would tell you they drive me crazy. And I want to know, what were this? I mean, you raised 6.
Right.
You tripled me.
Right.
And what were your secrets to, you know, how to... They all came out to be such fabulous people.
Right.
And I just hope that...
Yours are going to be that. They're going to be. I mean, you know, children go through stages at that, you know, like your son's 14. Well, I mean, he's really getting to be a young man.
Mm-hmm.
So there are differences between him when he was, say, 6 or 7 years old.
Yeah.
So there's going to be a big difference. And then Sierra, which is 19 years old, she's had 1 year in college. So actually, she thinks that she is as grown as you are now.
I had to tell her it's my house
Right.
and my rules.
Right.
Yes.
But we had rules, but I think I was a little more lenient than Granddaddy was when it comes to things like that.
Yeah.
You know.
So
That's what she said, y'all.
But I mean, I take care of them now if I had to. they can say that I did. The daddy never whooped them, but Mama take care of them.
Okay. What was your favorite memory? Because I know you have a lot of memories.
okay, actually I was talking to my mom about this a few days ago. When I was in elementary school, I used to come spend summers with her for the whole week, like Monday through Friday. And I remember I used to ride my bike. Y'all remember my yellow bike? I think Kim taught me how to ride my bike. But anyway, I had friends, and actually I still have friends that, you know, live down the street from her I grew up with. And it was just, you know, it was just fun. Like, I learned how to cook scrambled eggs. I mean, you know, she would let me cook a few little things, and those are the best memories. You know, like just hanging out with my grandparents.
Summertime.
Right.
Yeah.
Any more questions?
No.
All right. Give your grandmother.
Okay.
Love you.
I love you too.
And I am excited.
This is wonderful.
Uh-oh. Hi, baby.
Hey, Gigi.
How you doing, baby?
Good news.
Okay.
All right. What's your name?
My name is Lakeisha Turner, and I am Lisa's middle daughter, middle child syndrome. One of the things that I wanted to ask you, Gigi, is you talk about the adversity that you went through, the strengths that you have.
Right.
We're all still young adults. We're going through adversities in our lives, with our jobs and everything. What advice would you give us to move forward?
Probably to be a little more patient, and you don't let people push you or whatever. But then sometimes you have to step back and and do some of the things that you don't want to do, especially in jobs and things like that. But other than that, I don't know, baby.
All right, and then my fondest memory is actually being over Gigi and GP's house, and it seems like we were always over there, especially like the grandkids, because we're always having get-togethers, and family is very important to us. But I don't know if we were wrestling or fighting or whatever. And I just remember Gigi lining us up in the bedroom and taking that brown shoe. And we all got beat on our butts with this brown shoe. And so, I mean, just any time that we had ever saw a shoe like that in the store, it just reminded us of those whoopings we used to get. But, I mean, I thank you for those whoopings, because I think we have all grown up to be civilized people, respectful people, and it all started with you and GP. So we thank you and we love you.
Love you too.
Thank you.
That's called PTSD. Post-traumatic stress.
All right. Okay. Who do we have here?
My name is John Thomas, and I'm Miss Charlie May's son-in-law, Meredith's oldest daughter, Vicki Thomas.
Okay.
And I just want to ask my mother-in-law, where do you get your strength from?
Actually, I think I know we get it from God, because I pray every day for everybody, but my strength, a lot of my strength comes from James, because he's always supporting me in whatever I needed to do. So So I think that has a lot to do with, excuse me, baby, but I think that, that has a lot to do with it. Mm-hmm.
Well, like I said, we all model our parents, and we try to do what we know is right, because Vicky came from a good family, and I came from a good family.
That's right.
And that's all we do know. Like our parents weren't no great educators. They didn't go to college, and they didn't got no PhDs, but they learned from the old school, and old school from their parents and their parents, and all we got is to pass that down to our kids and our grandkids. And I remember one time Vicky, when she had Nidra, I think it was 2 years old when we got married, and my father told me that you don't know what that was. Vicky told me y'all was strict parents, and I knew you were strict anyway. But my father told me you don't know what that girl's catching over there. You need to marry that girl and get that girl up out of there. Like I said, when we did get married, it was for real. It was,
for real,
serious,
that's right. Y'all been married 40 years?
39.
39 years, right. 39 years.
Amen. 39 years. And I want to say a lot of adversity in our family brought the family together. I just remember one time when the house caught on fire time, things like that just brought the family together.
Right.
Sometimes it takes adversity. We learn in the Bible that adversity brings the family together. Splits you up, or it brings you together.
Right.
And I was just say I want to love you, and I always will.
I love you too,
God
baby.
bless you.
All right, we're back, and I am TK, and you are with the Generational Legacy series, and we've got a question for Gigi, as she's affectionately known, Miss Charlie Mae. What's your name?
My name is Eric Patrick. I'm Charnel's son, her younger son.
And what's your question?
My question is, I know that, I live in Texas, so of course I'm one of the few, I guess, that doesn't live in Louisville. And if I'm correct, my mom was, I guess, the first child to really move away. My mom moved to St. Louis. So what were your thoughts on, I guess, her moving away in terms of keeping the family together now that she's not in the same city? And I guess now that a lot of us have kids, the grandkids have kids, in terms of letting your kids go kind of thing.
It was really hard for her to leave and go to St. Louis. But she was married, and her husband's job was taking her to St. Louis, and they knew there was going to be a future for them, as far as his job-wise is concerned. But I always say, even though it's really hard on you, as one of your children leaving and going somewhere, but as long as I can keep the communication open, where I can talk or whatever, I do pretty good with that. So I'm hoping when she retires that she comes back home.
We all are.
Because we really miss her. Being here, even though she worried me to death sometimes, but it was all right. It was a good worry. I'll say that, okay? And I love you guys so much. I do.
Do you have a fond memory?
I'm sure Granddad already knows what I'm about to say. And they said every time I come back in town of how when me and my brother actually moved here for a year. I was in the 5th grade, and when we were staying at their house, they were just like, I came down the stairs and told them how you guys are boring. And I started packing my clothes in a Kroger bag and going to my Aunt Lisa's house all the time. But I didn't know any better at the time, but I still loved them, so.
Those were good days. I love you too, baby.
What's your name?
My name is Tiffany, and I'm the youngest daughter of Lisa.
Okay. What's your question?
My question is, we have a big family as it is,
right?
But we also have a huge extended family.
Right.
Like if you're sitting on you and GP's porch, it's always, hey, Aunt Charlie Mae, or hey, Mama.
Right.
What do you think it is about you that draws so many people to you, and what makes you adopt so many people into our family?
We got gobs and gobs.
Yeah, a lot of kids that got cousins, I don't even know.
But I think it was because there was two a husband and wife in the house. A lot of kids didn't have that. So I think that had a lot to do with it. Not only that, when the kids were in our neighborhood was little, couldn't go. I mean, their parents never took them. James would take them to the ball games or take them, to different places, the zoo, which I didn't go. I let him take them. But things like that, I really think that when the extended children, because you love them, that makes me love them. Right. I've got children that I don't forget. Any of the great grandkids, I don't care how many it is, are the ones that are really born into, are the ones that comes in, with the families or whatever. Because I love them all just alike, and I try to do for them for Christmas what I can't do for all birthdays or whatever,
Right.
So it's just, I just love you all.
We love you too, grandmother. I think that's really similar to our situation too, because with mom and daddy being the only couple that was still together on our block, we was the popular house to hang out. Right. I think my fondest memory of being with Gigi was when I was younger. I was always at school. I mean, I was mama's hangout partner. If truancy was illegal back then. I mean, she'd be locked up. I mean, she'd probably be serving time. But me, mama, and grandmother, we was like click tight. We went out to eat, we went shopping, and I mean, I just had so much fun being around them. I think that's why I have an old soul now, and I really just enjoy going over there, and I'm the only one who can clean out the china cabinet.
Right, that's right.
I'm the only one who can touch the good stuff, And, I mean, just stuff like that. I just love being around my grandparents. I've already lost a grandmother, and I just appreciate having my grandmother here still, and it's such a blessing. It really is. So, a lot of history, a lot of just a lot here. A lot here. I love you.
I love you too, baby.
That's precious. She really favors you too.
Yeah.
Now, is Lisa our last one?
Yeah, your last one.
All right.
Okay.
But last but not least, Miss Lisa.
I'm gonna do what I do, baby. It's my girl right here. My name is Lisa Hatchett. I am the favorite. And I just want to say, Charnel was talking about she got a whooping on Vicky's wedding day.
Lisa, don't tell that.
Yeah, this is good. I learned a lot from it. On my wedding day. Well, my husband and I, we had filed and got our marriage license and stuff. His mother got sick, and we didn't want to have the wedding because she wasn't able to come. The last day before our license expired, we decided to go. His father, you all might remember Prince Hatchett, he was down at Antioch. That was his uncle. And so we went to him and asked him if he would marry us. Well, Mama was gone to bingo. Kim went and told it, which we wasn't trying to keep it a secret, but we decided to do it because I was actually I had been to school and I had got sick and knitting. I was out 2 years. I went back and graduated the same time my younger sister did. And so that was the last day of our license, so we decided to go ahead and get married since she wasn't going to be able to get there. So Kim went to bingo, got Mama, come back. Mama was upset because she felt like to her that, she wasn't going to get to celebrate that union. And so she got a little upset, so she was really frustrated with me. So she got her big ashtray, hit me upside my head, and I got a concussion. But I can tell you right now that was the best Mick I ever had. But she really knocked a lot of sense into me. And just like Mom and Daddy, My husband couldn't be here. His father is sick. He just come home from the hospital, so he's with him, and he actually lives next door to Mama. So he's my best friend. We grew up together. And I was 7 years old when I fell in love. We're not going to go there. But like I said, Daddy and Mama are a big inspiration to us. We just celebrated our 33rd anniversary, and we hope that we can make it to 62. I don't know. He's plucking a little bit right now. So I don't know, but that's our goal, is to keep it going, and hopefully our families will keep it going, because we got some wonderful folks up in this building tonight, baby. And my favorite moment, like Tiffany said, was hanging out in the store. When they bought the Walmart, we went every single day. Every day. Because I was a stay-at-home mom. Me and Wayne talked about it, and he wanted me home with the kids to raise the kids, and I think that played a big role in how our girls were raised, because they're awesome. And so, like I said, that's our fondest memory, was hanging out at the Walmart. We spent a lot of money in Walmart. We should have got some stock, is what we should have done. And like Tiffany said, she was always there, and then the other girls was always a little jealous. You're so lucky. And I did not keep you out of school.
I'm only on the 5th grade meeting.
I'm done.
Well, thank you for sharing, Lisa. Hey, this is TK, and you are with the Generational Legacy series. And guess who I've got next to me? Is Big Papa.
Hello. How's everybody? The house is full, I see.
It is. All
relatives too. Isn't it wonderful?
All of them kin to you. How cool is that, huh?
Trust is one word. Trust and love.
Trust and love.
Right. Get you there. But you have to have it.
You want to expound on the trust?
Well, yes. She trying to tell me she's going to the store. She spends $300, and she trusted I don't raise hell about it. That's trust.
Yes,
it is. That's real trust there.
It really is, especially if she's spending $300.
Right. But she knows how to. If she spends $300, it's necessary.
So is she the Proverbs 31 woman?
Well. Could be.
Okay, because you take that 300 and stretch it for 2 or 3
Lord. She knows how to spend it better than me.
Okay.
I haven't shopped in see, I got a bad leg over here. And I had it under the table. See, we had it under the table.
Yeah, I can't see it.
That's why I had it under the table. Well, anyway, she's always has been a good spender. She knows how to deal with money. See, when we got married, I thought they were rich, Daddy worked at was it Silverton Hills Standard.
Okay.
And I thought the mother worked on bag plant. I said, we gonna go into some money here.
You thought you was getting sister money bags.
But, it didn't work out that way, but we still managed. And that's what it's all about, managing.
Well, she had to be a manager if you all had 6 kids,
really,
right?
The house was always full, Sometimes not full of groceries, but we try to get there when we could.
So, now you elaborated on the trust. What about the love? Because it's a lot of love in this room.
You have to have it. You can't make it without love. And we love all. We got a bunch of. We got 27 great grand. 21. Great grand.
19.
I must have missed it somewhere. It was 11 grandchildren, right? 19 great grands. I think we lost somebody there. They got on the wrong train, didn't they? No, it wasn't funny, was it? It wasn't really funny, was it?
No, Poppy, it wasn't funny. Well, tell me this. What is your secret to keeping Mother Charlie happy these last 62 years?
Let her go bingo. At least once a week.
Once a week
Once
bingo?
a week bingo. Maybe twice a week. Woo. Like going the extra step. But she loves bingo. I used to go years ago. But she loves to go. I let her go. It's all okay if I feel all right. One night a week or 2 nights a week. Fine with me.
Now, give me a memory. Something, because 62 years, and I know you have a ton of memories, but just one special memory that you can share with the family.
Well, the night I asked her dad for her hand in marriage. See, my mother didn't want us to get married because we was too young. Well, I was 20 and she was 16. And she had a year to go in high school. But I was in the Air Force and I couldn't wait. So my mom and her mom, they weren't really for it, see. But my father and her father, they were okay. They were okay with it, see. So we went over to Jeffersonville. Jeffersonville. Everybody thought she was pregnant, see. No way. I just loved that lady, that's all. And we got married then. I wish I let her go and finish school, but couldn't.
You didn't want her to get away, right?
Right. Somebody else would have got her, but she left that. So.
You was a wise soul at 20 years old, huh?
Right. It had to be. She was a sweetheart, though. I tell you, I love that woman.
So what drew you to Miss Charlie? Because 13, she said she fell in love with you at 13. So what did you see in that 13-year-old girl? She have a big heart?
No, she didn't. Dad had a car. She didn't have a car.
A big heart.
Heart.
Yeah.
Yes, she could have. I couldn't see it, but she in giving, she was a wonderful person.
So she was a giver at 13?
Right. She's always had been a giver. And so when I first saw her, I said, that's going to be my gal. That's going to be my gal. So here we are.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's beautiful. So what would you like to say to Miss Charlie right now? Look over there in her eyes. Look. What would you like to tell her?
I still love you, baby.
That's wonderful. Now,
Forever.
Forever? All right. If we have a granddaughter, and you have a question?
Yeah. Okay. Well, you kind of asked my question.
Oh, sorry.
I was just going to ask.
What's your name?
Antoinette Patrick. My husband is Eric Patrick. I'm married into the family, but I feel like I'm one of them. I was going to ask, being married only a year now, I just wanted to see what is your favorite thing as a husband to your wife?
Well, being able to answer questions and without a whole lot of fussing and fight. We always had it that way. We might fuss a little bit, but we didn't mean it. They thought we were going to do something, but we didn't. But it doesn't hurt to sit down and think things over, before we get all upset about this, that, and the other. And that way you can understand each other better. That's why we brought it through that way. I'm telling all the other youngsters, but listen, with time.
So you've only been married a year?
In a few months.
Okay. Well, congratulations. Thank you. Do you have a memory?
Oh, yeah.
Would you like to share?
The first time I met Granddaddy was at their house. And as soon as he seen me, he wanted to tell me about how my husband would always ask him to hold $2. And every time we come back, he always says, "Where's my money?"
He's thrifty too. He can squeeze a dollar till who's on the dollar? Jefferson? Anyway,
Brother Washington's on the dollar.
that made him thrifty, and he can save money. He got a house down in Dallas, and what is that? 20 rooms.
Only four. It's only four.
24 rooms?
No, just four.
Four rooms. Oh, okay. Why did you get 24 rooms? Why did you get 20?
I don't know where you got 24.
4 bedrooms. Okay, so we back on it now.
That's thanks to those $2 you let him hold on.
Yeah, I put it to good use.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Hey, you got some change coming back at you, man. You got some change coming.
All right. Well, thank you for your questions and your memories. All right.
Come on in. Have a seat.
All right. Hi there.
How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm great.
What's your name?
My name is Tyrone Fields. I'm married to Nicole Fields. Lisa Hatchett is my mom. I'm going to say mother-in-law. She's my mom. Granddaddy, question I want to ask you. Okay. You and Miss Charlie May have been married for 62 years, man. And I just want to know what you think. What do you think about when you look out in the crowd and you see the fruits of your labor and the hard work that you put in?
I'll tell you one thing. I'm happy. Because a whole lot of guys couldn't see because they had this many relatives right in one room and this age. I'm happy. Really happy. So keep on pushing. All right. It was very nice.
My fondest memory is not just of Mr. James here, but just the whole Trowell family. Just since the first day when I met them, I felt like I was family. They've always treated me like I was family. And same way as Kendra's case, 2 years after I met Nicole, I lost two of my grandparents, and I just feel like I haven't lost anything because they were always there for me, treated me like a grandson, and I love them as my grandparents.
Right. You love me too, man.
Love you too.
All right.
You see, he raised that left eyebrow up like, huh?
But John said give him a kiss. Come on, John. You want to give him a kiss?
Okay. All right.
We are the Trowell Family, and this is our legacy.